Steve Austin is a 26-year-old millennial with an annual income of $29,000. He is a Caucasian male with brown eyes, dark brown hair, and a buff physical appearance. He identifies himself as he and him. Steve grew up in a small town of Geneva, Florida, and he always dreamed of bigger and better things. Currently, he lives in the heart of Orlando, Florida, and he works for the company of his dreams in Walt Disney World. Steve went to college at the University of Central Florida and has his bachelor's degree in hospitality management with a theater minor. Steve is a friendly guy with a passion for acting and finding love. During Steve's childhood, he always had love for Disney, and he would always take trips with his family to walk around Disney World parks. It's because of Disney and his parents that he became such a hopeless romantic and with the goal of discovering his own fairy tale lover.
Although Steve was struggling with budget and saving money, there was light at the end of the tunnel, and that light was named Bethany. Bethany and Steve first met as Bethany was a new cast member at Disney. Their first interaction was Steve joking around with Bethany saying he had never seen a name tag spelled wrong before at Disney. Bethany had to explain that her name was spelled Bethannie after her two grandmothers, Beth and Annie. After a few months of friendship, they began to date. Bethany revealed to Steve that she only worked at Disney as a summer job, and it turns out that she teaches, and this job is just to supplement her income. She jokes that if they combine their income, she wouldn't need a summer job.
Steve's nerves were at an all-time high that day. He wanted to make sure this special day went as perfect as he always imagined it to be. Steve planned that they would start the day off in Tomorrowland, head over to Fantasyland, and loop around in front of Cinderella's castle to take a photo before noon. He booked a reservation at Cinderella's royal table for lunch to celebrate the engagement. Sticking with his plans and enjoying his time with Bethany, the feeling of adrenaline rushed through his body as the time got closer and closer. Beforehand, Steve had told Bethany he had made lunch reservations before the lunch rush, and together they made their way to Cinderella's castle to take a picture together before lunch. After taking a few pictures together, Steve then begins to tell Bethany how much she has made him happy, how they support each other, and how he wants to be the one to cherish her forever. With that, he kneels on one knee and asks Bethany, "Bethany, will you marry me?" Feeling overwhelmed with joy, love, and tears in her eyes, Bethany accepts without hesitation. After sharing a huge embrace and cherishing the moment, they head off to their reservation where lunch is served and the celebration begins.
On April 17, 2021, at 12 p.m., Steve and Bethany officiated their love at the Harry P. Lue Gardens. Their wonderful wedding ceremony was held in the Rose Garden venue. Although the wedding was small, it was comforting, with the company of 45 of their closest friends and family. The wedding was adorned with dusty blues and pinks, which gave the enchanting Cinderella Disney feel. Both Bethany and Steve fell in love with Disney, so small touches like these made their wedding even more special. Bethany was beautifully dressed in a white dress with embellishments at the waist, a bouquet of flowers, and a beautiful white veil to put the finishing touches on her attire. Steve was dressed in a black tuxedo. Both bride and groom had 4 people on their sides of the altar. Bethany had the maid of honor, and Steve had the best man. Following their outside garden feel wedding, they had a beautiful reception for their guests to enjoy. A DJ, bartender, and photographer made their wedding even more exciting. Although a small wedding, both Bethany and Steve tied their knot in the spring with their wedding phrase of "love is in the bloom." They happily continued their love story on a honeymoon Disney cruise to the Bahamas, where they enjoyed the rest of their wedding.
It's the first child's baby shower, the most stressful and nerve-wracking one, since it marks the beginning of parenthood. Baby Violet's baby shower will be celebrated on Saturday, December 5th, at the couple's friend's house. Steve and Bethany wanted to have a more inclusive baby shower, therefore inviting family and friends from each side of the family. Also while inviting both men and women to celebrate their baby girl. The baby shower will of course be Disney princess themed, since Disney is what brought Steve and Bethany together. The flourishing decorations filled with Disney characters are plastered on everything, from the table coverings to balloons to party utensils and plates to the foods catered for this event. Each guest brought the couple a gift from the Amazon registry, which included the clothes, the changing supplies, and other baby necessities. There were 35 guests, and from both sides of the family, a lot of the essentials were taken care of. The amount of gifts ended up being enough items for a new family to start. Of course, with the gifts bought from Amazon, there are monthly purchases that the baby needs, such as diapers and baby food. Therefore, Steve and Bethany will subscribe to a care package for expecting mothers on Amazon.
Through Bethany's research at her job, Dr. Phillips Elementary School, Bethany found out that the maternity leave that they would cover would be around 3 months. Bethany decided that she would be taking this maternity leave for around 3 months after having her first baby, Violet. Once the 3 months were up, Bethany decided that she would work part-time as a teacher at her elementary school. During that time, Steve continued to work full-time at his new position as a lead management role in the casting at Disney. As a precautionary attempt to avoid couple arguments, they hired a nanny for around 12 days out of the month for around 4 hours. The nanny helped take care of Bethany's load and also allowed time for Steve and Bethany to utilize their date night or personal funds to relax. Apart from the nanny, the responsibilities would mostly be for Bethany to fulfill for the majority of the day. However, during the night, Steve would help feed the baby once he gets home from work. Solutions like these would help alleviate the stress of the baby and help the couple rekindle their relationship.
Chapter 5, The Debt. Steve and Bethany are in debt of about $58,000 with an APR of 19% and a minimum payment of 3.5%. In order to have some money to pay off the debt Steve and Bethany owe, we've made some adjustments. As far as one expense we've adjusted is the nanny cut in half, allocated to date night expenses so that the couple can spend more time together to rekindle. But also Steve can take over night shifts with the children while Bethany works part-time. We actually added an expense, which is a family breakfast for the weekends. We thought that this would be a nice tradition for the family to start off, as it will help Bethany with her issues, but also it will help our budget decrease on how much they spend out. With that, we also made other adjustments to help pay off the debt a little quicker. Bethany and Steve kept their date nights every so often by doing something low cost to none. A lot of the free adventures, such as going to the Disney parks and riding the rides, walking downtown, going to the park, catching free concerts, going on bike rides, and having a relaxing day.
Steve Austin unfortunately passed away at 85 years old, and his daughter Violet wrote a eulogy for him. Here is an excerpt from the eulogy. My father Steve grew up in Geneva, Florida with his parents. As an only child, my dad had the privilege to go to Disney World often with his family. Ever since he was a child, he always had dreams of creating his own magic with Disney too. When my dad graduated from UCF with his bachelor's in hospitality management and a theater minor, he decided to finally take the big leap and start working for Disney as a face character, Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Despite his personality not particularly relating to Gaston's, he loved impersonating him and acting. It was at this point in his life that he was looking to find his Belle too. My mother and father were the epitome of true love. It was nothing less of a magical romance. Their love was cinematic and much like a fairy tale. They met working together at Disney, starting as friends and eventually developing strong feelings for one another. It is only suitable for my father to find his true love at the place where they both love to be and work. Despite hurdles and hardships, their love overcame all odds and got married. Not too long after, they decided to put all their love into something they could forever share together, me.